Chapter 4178 Boarded the pirate ship. Xiao Yu rolled her eyes and sneered. Yun Chujio, did you hear that? You're simply daydreaming. If the array's core was inside the ghost city of Tao Tai, wouldn't the array masters coming and going here be able to notice it? You're just trying to slack off. Although Chu Fong didn't say anything, he clearly agreed with Xiao Yu's point of view. He felt that Yun Chujio had most likely gone crazy again. Yun Chujio was not angry and said to the ghost guards, "There is already a gap in the city gate. Even if we can temporarily use manpower to block it, we won't be able to hold on for long. Once the protective array is broken, we can only wait for death. I'm just going in to check. If we succeed, we will all be saved. Even if we can't find it, there won't be any losses, right? If you're worried, you can send 2 people to follow us. Are you afraid that the 3 of us will cause any trouble?" Although those ghost messengers hesitated, they still refused in the end. "Miss, if you want to enter the ghost city of Tao Tai, please go to the city lord to get the token. Otherwise, we won't let you in. It's our duty, please forgive us." Yun Chujio's eyes flashed. "All right, then we'll go to the city lord now." After saying that, Yun Chujio left with Chu Fong and Xiao Yu. However, when they turned into a small alley, Yun Chujio said to the 2 of them, "If I go to the city lord, even if I get permission in the end, it will waste a lot of time, so we'll restrain those ghost guards later and force our way in." Xiao Yu and Chu Fong simply felt that Yun Chujio was talking in her sleep. Force their way in? Putting aside whether this action was safe or not, the main thing was that the ghost messengers had 6 people. There were only 3 of them, so how could they restrain them? Moreover, once there was a slight disturbance, they would send a message to their other companions, and at that time, it would be even more impossible to succeed. Xiao Yu sneered, "If you want to die, go by yourself. Don't drag me along." Yun Chujio looked at her with a faint smile. "Xiao Yu, it's up to you whether you want to go or not. In any case, I will drag you along with me in the end. You know my ability to lie through my teeth." Xiao Yu was so angry that she was about to explode. However, she heard Yun Chujio say faintly, "Xiao Yu, don't you want to be the hero that everyone praises? Don't you want that scum Lan Luochen to think that he has underestimated you? Don't you want Island Master Qi to be proud of you?" Yun Chujio's words clearly hit Xiao Yu's heart. She was silent for a moment before she gritted her teeth and asked, "What are your chances of finding the array core?" 80%, Yun Chujio said with certainty. Xiao Yu stomped her feet. "All right, they'll listen to you this time. It's fine if you can find the array core, but if you can't, HMH." Yun Chujio said with a smile, "Since all of you have agreed, then let's discuss our countermeasures." Chu Fong, wasn't he a human? Why didn't he ask for his opinion? However, he was only thinking about it. He knew that since he was already on Yun Chujio's boat, it was impossible for him to get off. A moment later, Xiao Yu gritted her teeth and left the alley, but she quickly pretended to be like a pear blossom in the rain. She cried while shouting, "Brothers, quickly help me. My junior sister and senior brother suddenly vomited blood and fell to the ground. Quickly help me see what's going on." The few patrolling ghost guards saw that Xiao Yu was crying miserably, and when they heard what she said, they did not suspect him, and 2 people ran over. "Miss, don't be anxious. Bring us over to take a look." Xiao Yu nodded while crying and then brought the 2 into the alley. Chapter 4179 to 80%. A moment later, the 2 ghost guards were knocked unconscious. Yun Chujio was afraid that they would not faint completely, so she fed each of them a sleeping pill. Yun Chujio dragged the 2 to the side and motioned Xiao Yu to continue fishing. After the 6 people were knocked unconscious, Yun Chujio took off the identity jade token from their waists and covered the 6 people's bodies with sundries. She said to Xiao Yu, "You are still useful. Continue to work hard. I have high hopes for you." Xiao Yu was furious. When had she ever done such a shameful thing? It was fine if she found the array's core, but if she couldn't find her, she would definitely find this Yun Chujio to settle the score. Yun Chujio waved her claws with a smile. "Let's go. Let's go stir up trouble." Chu Fong and Xiao Yu did not have any confidence, but they had no choice. Since they had already started, They could only grit their teeth and follow. The three of them arrived at the entrance of the ghost city of Tao Tai. They used the jade token of the ghost messenger to open the door and sneakily walked in. The ghost city of Tao Tai was divided into two parts. One part was the auction house and the other part was the backstage. Yun Chujio was not sure where the array core was, so she could only let out the little black rat and a group of rabbits to dig a hole. The little black rat and the few rabbits were not joking when they dug a hole. In a short while, the ghost city of Tao Tai was filled with holes of all sizes. Xiao Yu and Chu Fong were dumbfounded. Putting aside the weird-looking rabbits, you had turned the ghost city of Tao Tai into a mess. It would be great if you could find the array core, but if you couldn't find it, why wouldn't the ghost city of Tao Tai seek you out? Yun Chujio glanced at them. What are you still standing there for? I brought you here to watch the show? Dig for me. The two of them felt as though their hearts had gone crazy. They had never heard of any array master digging for the array core. Xiao Yu looked at the mess and gritted her teeth. Yun Chujio, tell me the truth. Are you really confident? Yun Chujio bared her little white teeth. I'm really not confident. I just feel that there might be an array eye here. Xiao Yu was furious. Didn't you say that you were 80% confident? Your comprehension ability is too poor. What I mean is 80%, which means it's possible, roughly. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Xiao Yu was so angry that her head was buzzing. Just as she was about to say something, footsteps came from outside. The three of them were stunned. This was bad. The first to rush in were the 6 ghost messengers who had been beaten black and blue. There were also quite a number of ghost messengers behind them. It's the 3 of them. As expected, they are here to cause trouble. How preposterous! One of the ghost messengers who had been beaten said while gnashing his teeth. The other ghost messengers were also furious when they saw the mess and were about to make a move. Yun Chujio shouted sternly, "Stop! If you don't want to die, just stay there obediently." Xiao Yu and Chu Fong were speechless. At this time, you still dare to threaten them. They were clearly the meat on the chopping block. Those ghost guards were stunned at first and then sneered, "Are you crazy? You still dare to threaten us now? Go, capture the 3 of them and send them to the city lord for punishment." Yun Chujio gritted her teeth. She had to stall for time now, because in another 2 hours, Xiao He and the others would be able to explore the entire ghost city of Tao Tai. No matter what, she could not give up halfway. It was not that she had never thought of going to the city lord openly, but who could believe her words? Even if she agreed in the end, it would waste a lot of time. Therefore, she had to take advantage of the time when everyone was going to the city gate to come and check. A moment later, the 2 ghost guards were knocked unconscious. Yun Chujio was afraid that they would not faint completely, so she fed each of them a sleeping pill. Yun Chujio dragged the 2 to the side and motioned Xiao Yu to continue fishing. After the 6 people were knocked unconscious, Yun Chujio took off the identity jade token from their waists and covered the 6 people's bodies with sundries. She said to Xiao Yu, "You are still useful. Continue to work hard. I have high hopes for you." Xiao Yu was furious. When had she ever done such a shameful thing? It was fine if she found the array's core, but if she couldn't find her, she would definitely find this Yun Chujio to settle the score. Yun Chujio waved her claws with a smile. "Let's go. Let's go stir up trouble." Chu Fong and Xiao Yu did not have any confidence, but they had no choice. Since they had already started, they could only grit their teeth and follow. The 3 of them arrived at the entrance of the ghost city of Tao Tai. They used the jade token of the ghost messenger to open the door and sneakily walked in. The ghost city of Tao Tai was divided into 2 parts. One part was the auction house and the other part was the backstage. Yun Chujio was not sure where the array core was, so she could only let out the little black rat and a group of rabbits to dig a hole. The little black rat and the few rabbits were not joking when they dug a hole. In a short while, the ghost city of Tao Tai was filled with holes of all sizes. Xiao Yu and Chu Fong were dumbfounded. Putting aside the weird-looking rabbits, you had turned the ghost city of Tao Tai into a mess. It would be great if you could find the array core, but if you couldn't find it, Why wouldn't the ghost city of Taotai seek you out? Yun Chujio glanced at them. What are you still standing there for? I brought you here to watch the show? Dig for me. The two of them felt as though their hearts had gone crazy. They had never heard of any array master digging for the array core. Xiao Yu looked at the mess and gritted her teeth. Yun Chujio, tell me the truth. Are you really confident? Please visit Pandwan. Myun Chujio bared her little white teeth. I'm really not confident. I just feel that there might be an array eye here. Xiao Yu was furious. Didn't you say that you were 80% confident? Your comprehension ability is too poor. What I mean is 80%, which means it's possible, roughly. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Xiao Yu was so angry that her head was buzzing. Just as she was about to say something, footsteps came from outside. The three of them were stunned. This was bad. The first to rush in were the 6 ghost messengers who had been beaten black and blue. There were also quite a number of ghost messengers behind them. It's the 3 of them. As expected, they are here to cause trouble. How preposterous. One of the ghost messengers who had been beaten said while gnashing his teeth. The other ghost messengers were also furious when they saw the mess and were about to make a move. Yun Chujio shouted sternly, "Stop. If you don't want to die, just stay there obediently." Xiao Yu and Chu Fong were speechless. At this time, you still dare to threaten them. They were clearly the meat on the chopping block. P Alpha D Alpha Nu, Yun Chujio gritted her teeth. She had to stall for time now, because in another 2 hours, Xiao He and the others would be able to explore the entire ghost city of Taotai. No matter what, she could not give up halfway. It was not that she had never thought of going to the city lord openly, but who could believe her words? Even if she agreed in the end, it would waste a lot of time. Therefore, she had to take advantage of the time when everyone was going to the city gate to come and check. Chapter 4180. The miserable Xiao Yu. Yun Chujio's eyes flashed, and in the next moment, the large kitchen knife in her hand was pressed on Xiao Yu's neck. Xiao Yu, Chu Fong, those ghosts. Yun Chujio exerted a little more force, and a wound appeared on Xiao Yu's fair neck, and fresh blood flowed down. Xiao Yu cursed in pain. Yun Chujio, are you crazy? Yun Chujio revealed an extremely sinister smile. Of course I'm not crazy. I brought you along just to make you a hostage. After all, you are Island Master Chi's beloved disciple. If anything happens to you, Kithisuke, I believe it will be very fun. Chu Fong was dumbfounded. Was his brain not enough, or was junior sister Yun really crazy? Or was she acting? But there was no need to really cut Xiao Yu's neck to make it bleed, right? At first, those ghost messengers also thought that Yun Chujio was acting, but when they saw the wound on Xiao Yu's neck, they immediately did not dare to act rashly. The previous 6 ghost messengers did not know Xiao Yu, but some of the later ghost messengers had seen Xiao Yu. If Xiao Yu really had a mishap, with Island Master Chi's love for her, they would not be able to recover. There was a special array in the ghost city of Taotai that allowed ghost messengers to use their identity jade tokens to send messages, but there was no way to use talismans in the ghost city, so they could only send people to send messages. A small leader of ghost messengers was about to send someone to send a message when he heard Yun Chujio say sinisterly, "If you dare to send a message, I will kill her." The small leader hurriedly said, "If we don't deliver the message, don't act recklessly. If you hurt Miss Xiao Yu, you won't live either." Yun Chujio curled her lips. "As long as you obediently cooperate with me, I will naturally not kill her. But if you dare to act rashly, we will perish together. In any case, this ghost city will break down sooner or later. Sooner or later, it doesn't matter." As Yun Chujio spoke, she cut Xiao Yu's neck again. Xiao Yu felt that she was completely stupid. These few days she actually thought that Yun Chujio wasn't that annoying, but in the end, she was a temperamental devil. She was a lunatic. Chu Fong saw that the blood flowing from Xiao Yu's neck had dyed her collar red, and he couldn't help but feel a little unbearable. However, when he saw Yun Chujio's cold gaze, he didn't dare to speak. When the Ghost Errand's little leader saw this, he was afraid that Yun Chujio would really kill him, so he hurriedly said, Well, cooperate completely. What do you want us to do?" Dig a hole. Dig a hole for me. If anyone is lazy, I'll kill her. Yun Chujio threw them a pile of pickaxes. Chu Fang's expression stiffened. It was over. This junior sister Yun of his was completely crazy. Also, did she run a grocery store? There were actually so many pickaxes. Those ghost guards were also dumbfounded, but they did not dare to disobey. Each of them picked up a pickaxe and began to dig a hole. Yun Chujio was holding Xiaoyu to supervise the workers, so Chu Fang could only bitterly act as an accomplice. Midway, Xiaoyu wanted to speak, but Yun Chujio said darkly, "If you want to die, then speak. Otherwise, pretend to be mute." Xiaoyu felt this hatred in her heart, but she did not dare to resist, so she could only kill Yun Chujio a few hundred times in her heart. After digging for a while, a ghost took the opportunity to slip away to report the news. Although Yun Chujio saw it, she did not stop it, because even if she had Xiaoyu as a hostage, it was impossible for her to control all the ghost guards. In any case, she was almost done digging, so it was fine to deliver the letter. Chapter 4181. She was tearing down the ghost city of Tao Tai at this moment. Everyone had already piled up a lot of wood, sandbags, and other items at the city gate of the ghost city. Although they couldn't completely block the hole in the array formation, they could at least hold it off for a while. Just when everyone was slightly relieved, a ghost messenger ran over, rolling and crawling. "City Lord, this is bad. The nameless sword sex Yun Chujio is tearing down our ghost city of Tao Tai." The city lord of Ghost City, manager's son, couldn't believe his ears. What was this? He knew about Yun Chujio. Although the ghost city of Tao Tai had always claimed that they didn't know the identity of their guests, how could they really not know? Therefore, he knew that the person who had made the deal with him was Yun Chujio. He felt that this Yun Chujio was simply a shrewd person. But now, she was tearing down the ghost city of Tao Tai? Was she crazy? The other manager immediately became anxious and reprimanded, "Won't you stop her? She kidnapped Miss Xiaoyu from the Flying Flower Island, so we don't dare to stop her." She even ordered everyone to help her tear down the ghost city of Tao Tai. Now, many holes have been dug in the ghost city of Tao Tai. She said that she was looking for the protective array core of the ghost city, the messenger ghost said in a trembling voice. Island Master Chi of the Flying Flower Island was watching the show from the side. When he heard that Xiaoyu was being held hostage, he immediately became anxious. He said angrily to Elder Duanmu, "What does your nameless sword sect mean? If anything happens to Xiaoyu, I won't let you off." Elder Duanmu and the other two looked at each other. They were also dumbfounded. Okay? Didn't Yun Chujio and Xiaoyu turn their hostility into amicable friendship a few days ago? Why did this happen again? No one had the time to ask. Other than the people guarding the city gate, everyone else had arrived at the ghost city of Tao Tai. Manager's son and the others were so angry when they saw the large and small holes on the ground and the items lying around. Although the situation was urgent now, they had not given up completely. If the ghost city could be preserved, the ghost city of Tao Tai would naturally continue to operate. Now, it had been demolished. How could there not be anger? Island Master Chi was not concerned about these things. He was concerned about Xiaoyu, but when he saw the situation in front of him, he was stunned. Wasn't it said that Yun Chujio had kidnapped Xiaoyu? But why did he see Xiaoyu standing perfectly fine beside Yun Chujio? Although there were a few strips of cloth tied around her neck, she seemed to be fine. However, Elder Duanmu heaved a sigh of relief. He could just tear down the ghost city of Tao Tai and compensate her, but if he really held Xiaoyu hostage, Island Master Chi would probably not be kind to him. Manager's son was so angry that he was trembling. He took a deep breath and said, "Miss Yun, what are you trying to do?" Yun Chujio said with a straight face, "I'm looking for the core of the ghost city's protective array. You won't feel sorry for the facilities of the ghost city of Tao Tai, right? After all, compared to everyone's lives, these worldly possessions are not worth mentioning." Manager's son was so angry that he almost vomited blood. What she said was light, not worth mentioning. The ghost city of Tao Tai was the painstaking work of generations of them. However, under the watchful eyes of everyone, he could not deny it, so he could only say, Miss Yun, if we can find the array core, this ghost city of Tao Tai is naturally nothing. But you are not an array master, so how did you know that there is an array core here? Let's get straight to the point. If you can't find the formation core, then you must compensate us in full for our losses. Otherwise, we will definitely seek justice from you. Yun Chujio smiled slightly. Of course, if you can't find the formation core, then our Nameless Sword Sect and Flying Flower Island will compensate you for the losses. Chapter 4182. Are you toying with me? As soon as Yun Chujio finished her sentence, Xiao Yu, who was beside her, nearly fainted from anger. It was one thing for her to act as a honey trap, but she had been taken as a hostage just now and nearly had her neck cut off. Now, she had made Flying Flower Island take the blame with her. How shameless! She recalled what had happened 15 minutes ago and was so angry that she was trembling. After the messenger ghost left, Yun Chujio said to her with a smile, Xiao Yu, little beauty, I was just acting. If I didn't do this, they would definitely make things difficult for us, so we can only let you suffer. Before Xiao Yu could say anything, Yun Chujio continued, we are now in the same boat. If you fall out with me, you won't get any benefits. Anyway, you're not dead, and Island Master Qi can't do anything to me. So, why don't you cooperate with me obediently? If you find the eye of the array like this, you'll be able to amaze everyone. Besides, it's quite embarrassing to be threatened by a good-for-nothing like me, right? You don't want everyone to know, right? After Yun Chujio finished speaking, she pretended to help Xiao Yu apply medicine and bandage. She even advised, don't be angry. If you're angry, you might leave a scar. It wouldn't be pretty if a scar were to be left on your beautiful neck. Senior brother Chu, don't you think so? Chu Fang. He didn't hear anything. He didn't want to talk now. Therefore, when Manager Sun and the others came, they saw the scene from before. Manager Sun saw that Yun Chujio promised to compensate for the loss if they couldn't find the array core, so his expression eased up a little. He knew that Yun Chujio was rich, so he wasn't afraid that she would go back on her word. After all, a monk couldn't run away from the temple. However, many array masters began to ridicule him. Today is really an eye-opener. This is the first time I know that you can find the formation core by digging a hole. If you can find the formation core by digging a hole, why don't we just dig through the ghost city? That's really stupid. She might not know that the formation core of every grand array has some kind of concealment. It's impossible to see the formation core with the naked eye. If she can find the formation core, that would really be a ghost. Hearing their words, Yun Chujio curled her lips slightly. Of course, she knew that some array cores were covered, but no matter how they were covered, the smell of spirit stones and array leaves could not escape Xiao Hei's nose. Of course, the prerequisite was that they had to be close enough. That was why she asked the rabbits and ghost hunters to help dig the holes. That way, it would be easier for Xiao Hei to find the array cores. Time passed bit by bit. Yun Chujio was still standing there calmly and did not say anything. Everyone started to get anxious. The glimmer of hope they had was completely destroyed. How could a little girl who did not know anything about arrays find the array core? Manager Sun said with a slight coldness, Miss Yun, it seems that you can't find the array core. Then, should we talk about compensation? Yun Chujio smiled. Who said I can't find the core of the array? Follow me. Yun Chujio's words were like thunder. Everyone was shocked. Although they were skeptical, they were still excited and followed Yun Chujio inside. However, when Manager Sun saw Yun Chujio pointing there, he was so angry that his nose almost went crooked. Miss Yun, are you kidding me? There is indeed a core of the array here, but it is the core of the Tao Tai Ghost City. Inside the Tao Tai Ghost City, there was not only a communication array but also a protective array for the auction stage. Yun Chujio was pointing at the core of the array. Chapter 4183 could no longer be dug out. Those formation masters immediately burst out laughing. This is hilarious. Does this Yun Chujio think that she can find the core of the Ghost City's defense formation just by digging a few holes? That's right, this is simply hilarious. So many of us have yet to find it, and she thinks that she can find it just by digging a few holes? She's really naive. That's nothing. She's still digging in secret. Could it be that she's afraid of others snatching her credit? The Nameless Sword sect and Flying Flower Island are also famous sects, so how did they produce such three brainless disciples? Whether it was Island Master Chi, Elder Duanmu, or the others, they could not keep up appearances, but they could not say anything in public. They could only wait for the matter to be settled and shut their doors before dealing with their own disciples. Xiao Yu and Chu Feng were already numb. They had already prepared for the worst. They had no choice. Who asked them to board the pirate ship? They deserved it. Only Yun Chujio had a calm expression as she kept Xiao Hei, Rat, and the other rabbits into her spirit beast bag. Then she said to the few ghost guards, "Dig, the array core is right below." Manager's son couldn't bear it any longer. It was fine if they dug up those places previously, but once the array core was destroyed, they would have to spend a lot of manpower and material resources to repair it. How could they allow Yun Chujio to continue digging? Stop! Miss Yun, I have already said that this is the array core of the ghost city of Tao Tai, not the protective array core of the ghost city. If you dig this place open, we will have to spend a lot of effort to repair it, so you cannot continue digging. If there isn't the array core of the ghost city's protective array down there, I will compensate you with double the spirit stones. Anyway, there are already array masters here. When the time comes, you can hire them to repair it for you. Yun Chujio said lightly. Manager's son couldn't help but be tempted when he heard the double compensation. He thought that if he kept stopping them, some people might think that he was narrow-minded, therefore he sneered and said, "Well, since Miss Yun is so straightforward, then you guys can dig." Those ghost guards received the order and dug down. Soon, everyone saw a big array disc. Those array masters curled their lips. This was indeed the array disc of the ghost city of Tao Tai. She should give up now, right? They did not expect Yun Chujio to instruct those ghost messengers to dismantle the array disc and move it away, continuing to dig down. Although manager's son felt sorry for the dismantled array disc, he did not stop those ghost messengers when he thought of the double compensation promised by Yun Chujio. Those ghost messengers dug another person up high, but they did not dig out anything other than sand. The onlookers shook their heads. This Yun Chujio was really a demon. There was clearly nothing down there. She just had to wait for the double compensation. Xiao Yu's heart was like a beeping dog. She had suffered so much, and in the end, it was all for naught? She was disappointed and angry. If eyesight could kill, Yun Chujio would probably be a sieve by now. At this moment, a ghost messenger cried out in surprise, "I can't dig anymore. I seem to have encountered some obstruction." Everyone looked at the bottom of the pit and saw that the ghost messenger's pickaxe seemed to be blocked by an invisible barrier. There was no way to continue digging. Then, the other ghost errand boys also encountered the same problem and encountered obstacles. The scene was dead silent and then exploded. What did the obstacles mean? It meant that there was a barrier. What did the barrier mean? It meant that there must be something hidden inside. Could it really be the core of the ghost city's defensive formation? Immediately, the few array masters who mocked Yun Chujio did not care about the pain on their faces. They jumped into the deep pit and began to study the barriers. Yun Chujio hugged her shoulders and watched. She could not help with the rest of the things. After all, she was not an array master. Chapter 4184 Repairing Formation leaves 4 hours later. The formation masters worked together and finally opened the barrier. What appeared in front of everyone was a huge formation disc. The huge formation leaves were covered with dense ancient runes. In the middle was a huge groove filled with 6-star dark spirit stones. Everyone also discovered that some of the formation leaves were already starting to crack. If they didn't repair it, they probably wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Those array masters looked at the array disc for a long time, and all of them frowned. This array disc is a bit special. It doesn't seem to be as simple as a protective array. Yeah, it does indeed seem a bit strange. Moreover, there are ancient runes on it. We can only recognize a few of them at most. For now, we can only strengthen those array leaves first. Hopefully it will be effective. Island Master Chi and the others did not come up with any ideas. They could only agree with the formation masters and temporarily use special materials to reinforce the cracked formation leaves to see if there was any effect. To everyone's surprise, after reinforcing those formation leaves, the ghost city's protective barrier did not tremble as much as before. Moreover, the original gap in the city gate had been repaired. Everyone finally let out a sigh of relief. No matter what, they had bought some time. Of course, because they had really found the array core, Manager Sun and the array masters felt their faces hurt. Fortunately, Yun Chujio did not say anything. Manager Sun asked Yun Chujio about the process of finding the array core. Yun Chujio smiled and said, I had been circling on the city wall and found that the protective barrier here in the ghost city of Taotai was the most stable. So I guessed that this should be where the array core was. It was just a coincidence. Only then did everyone remember that Yun Chujio and the other two were indeed circling around the city wall every day. They had even discussed that these three were most likely mentally ill. So they were looking for the array core. Even so, everyone was still skeptical of her words. But no matter what, the result was good. For a time, Yun Chujio became the hero of the ghost city. Along with Xiao Yu and Chu Fong, she also received unanimous praise from everyone. What heroes came from youths, what worthy of being a disciple of a famous sect, and so on. Although Xiao Yu still had some complaints about Yun Chujio cutting her neck, she didn't do anything to Yun Chujio. On this day, during lunch, Island Master Chi sighed and said, I originally thought that I could temporarily alleviate it after discovering the array core, but I didn't expect that those array masters would be helpless. I'm afraid they won't last for more than a few days. Xiao Yu asked in puzzlement, Master, haven't those array leaves already been reinforced? Why can't they last for more than a few days? Because Xiao Yu had done a good job for the Flying Flower Island this time, Island Master Chi now doted on her even more. He patiently explained, strengthening the array leaves is only a temporary measure. If those array leaves break again, it's useless to reinforce them. Yun Chujio, who was gnawing on a bone, muttered, Then draw a few more array leaves according to the original ones. Although they can't be compared to the original ones, they can at least last for a period of time. Island Master Chi was not so kind to her. He snorted coldly and said, What you said is simple. Do you think those array masters didn't think of this? However, the ancient runes on the array leaves were very complicated. Moreover, when drawing them, they had to be done in one go. They couldn't stop in the middle, so they failed every time they tried. They even invited some talisman masters to help, but none of them could draw a complete array leaf. Even these array masters and talisman masters were unable to draw, so there was nothing anyone could do. Chapter 4185. They'll give it a try. After hearing Island Master Chi's words, Yun Chujio didn't say anything. She just gnawed on the bones and became happier and happier. Island Master Chi didn't expect Yun Chujio to have any solutions, so he snorted and didn't say anything else. On the contrary, the others were talking about it. They were worried that once the array leaves broke, their lives would be in danger. Other than Yun Chujio, almost everyone on the table put down their chopsticks. Xiao Yu glared at her and wanted to say something, but she swallowed it back. If it weren't for this foodie, they probably wouldn't have lived until now. Yun Chujio chewed on a few more bones and then sipped on a bowl of soup. Only then did she put down the bowl and chopsticks in satisfaction. I say, is that array leaf really that difficult? Isn't it just drawing from the gourd? I'll give it a try. I like drawing the most, the fellow said while strolling. When everyone heard her words, they nearly died from anger. Could drawing an array leaf be the same as drawing a painting? Moreover, there were incomparably complicated ancient runes on it. If it was someone who didn't have deep attainments in talismans and arrays, not to mention finishing it in one go, even if you were to casually draw from it, you wouldn't be able to draw it. Island Master Chi sneered and said, Yun Chujio, although you did make a great contribution by finding the eye of the array, it was just a fluke. Don't be too arrogant. Think about your own weight before you speak. Otherwise, you'll be laughed at by others. Although Elder Duanmu and Elder Dongfang also felt that Yun Chujia's words were inappropriate, they were disciples of the nameless sword sect. It wasn't their place for an outsider to reprimand them. Therefore, their expressions became unsightly. Elder Duanmu was about to speak, however, he heard Yun Chujio say with a smile, "Island Master Qi, thank you for your reminder. However, I am confident and thick-skinned. Therefore, I will take your words as encouragement. Senior Brother Chu, Xiao Yeye, let's go and take a look at the eye of the formation." Island Master Qi, how could Yun Chujio be so thick-skinned? When did his precious disciple become Xiao Yeye? Xiao Yu was also very confused. Okay? What the hell was Xiao Yeye? But she hesitated for a moment and still got up to follow. It was better to follow that trash Yun Chujio than to stay in the inn. The three of them left the King of Hell's residence and slowly wandered toward the ghost city of Tao Tai. There were basically no pedestrians on the road. They either stayed in the house or volunteered to help guard the city. Besides, they didn't have the time to stroll on the street. Junior Sister Yun, are you really going to try drawing array leaves? Have you drawn them before? Chu Fong couldn't help but ask. I haven't drawn array leaves before, but I've drawn talisman seals before. I've even drawn portraits. By the way, Senior Brother Chu, I'll draw one for you one day. I guarantee you'll be satisfied, He Xinjiao said with a smile. The corner of Chu Fang's eyes twitched. The focus now wasn't on drawing portraits, alright. Xiao Yu snorted coldly at the side. Yun Chujio, do you think those array masters will let you draw? You have to know that there are very few large-scale array leaves to begin with. If you waste one, they will not let you waste one. Xiao Yu, don't worry. I will make them agree. Yun Chujio said with a grin. Xiao Yu was so angry that she gritted her teeth. Yun Chujio, if you continue to call me Xiao Yu, I will not be polite to you. He Xinjiao touched her chin. If you don't call me, then don't call me. What's the rush? Then I'll call you Yuer in the future. This is nice to hear. Chapter 4186. We are here to help. Xiao Yu naturally would not agree to be called Yuer. She angrily chased Yun Chujio for 2 streets before He Xinjiao said slyly, Alright, since you are not willing to be called Xiao Yeye and Yuer, then I will call you Little Yuer from now on. Xiao Yu panted heavily as she glared at Yun Chujio. She was puzzled. Her spirit energy was clearly much higher than this trash, so why couldn't she catch up to her? She knew Yun Chujio's character. If she still didn't agree, this fellow might not give her an ugly nickname. Little Moon it is. Yun Chujio saw that Xiao Yu didn't say anything and immediately clapped her hands. Little Moon, Senior Brother Chu, let's go. Little Miss will bring you to show off and bring you to fly. The corners of Xiao Yu and Chu Fang's mouths twitched violently. This person was most likely having a relapse again. She was the youngest among them, so how could she call herself a young miss? Shameless. The three of them chatted and laughed, and soon arrived at the ghost city of Tao Tai. Coincidentally, the ghost guards were the 6 people who were beaten up back then. When they saw Yun Chujio and the others, they could not help but feel a little embarrassed. Yun Chujio said with a smile, The 6 of you, what a coincidence. We are really fated. Sorry for offending you previously. Forgive us, forgive us. What could the 6 ghost messengers say? They also said a few polite words. Then they said, Miss Yun, are you going inside? The city lord has given an order. Without his order, no one except the array master is allowed to enter. Yun Chujio's smile became even brighter. 6 of you, the city lord's order is targeted at ordinary people. The 3 of us are not ordinary people, so please let us in. Otherwise, I will have to cut Little Moon's neck a few more times. Won't your heart ache? The 6 messengers were stunned at first, but then they realized that Yun Chujio was threatening them. After what happened last time, they finally knew that this person was a person who kept her word and was fearless. If they didn't let her in, she might really do it. Thus, the 6 of them looked at each other. She was the one who had discovered the array core anyway, and there were other array masters inside. They were not afraid of her causing trouble, so they just went in. After the 2 ghost guards opened the door, Yun Chujio and the other 2 walked in. Xiao Yu said angrily. Yun Chujio, if you dare to take me as a hostage again, I'll kill you. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. I'm just teasing them. You're my little moon. How can I bear to hurt you? If they don't let us in, I'll take senior brother Chu as a hostage. Anyway, he's a man. It's fine even if I cut his face a few times. Chu Fong, what's wrong with a man? Is a man shameless? The three of them quickly arrived at the core of the formation with ease. The three of them jumped to the bottom of the pit and saw the array formation masters either thinking bitterly or practicing on the blank formation leaves with talisman pens. There was also an array formation master who was most likely crazy and was banging his head against the wall. When those array masters saw Yun Chujio and the other two, especially Yun Chujio, they couldn't help but feel embarrassed. The moment they saw this little girl, they felt their faces hurt, burning with pain. One of the array masters asked, "What are you doing here? Did the city lord send you here?" Xiao Yu was about to speak when Yun Chujio interjected, "Yes, I volunteered to help, so the city lord sent us here." The array master who was ramming against the wall snappily said, "Help? Help with what? Could it be that you can draw array leaves?" Yun Chujio nodded. "That's right. I'm here to help draw array leaves." Chapter 4187 finished speaking before leaving after hearing Yun Chujio's words. The formation masters were stunned at first, then their mouths twitched. If they hadn't been slapped in the face by Yun Chujio last time, they would definitely have mocked and ridiculed her. Even so, the formation master who had crashed into the wall couldn't hold it in anymore. "Yun Chujio, do you think that this formation leaf is a joke? Although we don't dare to say that we are the top formation masters in the northern continent, we are still considered influential figures. If we can't even complete it, can you?" "Yes, I am a nobody, but I found the formation core." Yun Chujio's face was full of smiles, but her words poked people's hearts. Those formation masters immediately felt embarrassed. One of the formation masters said, "Since you insist on trying, then try using a few small formation leaves first. There's no need to use too many. If you can draw 1/20th of a rune, I will give you a large formation leaf for you to draw." Yun Chujio immediately nodded in agreement. She took the few small array leaves that the array master handed to her and walked towards the array leaf that was about to break. After observing for a while, she took out a talisman brush and began drawing. The array masters, Xiao Yu, and Chu Fong surrounded Yun Chujio. Although they felt that this fellow was just bragging, they still wanted to see if she knew how to draw. Soon, everyone curled their lips because Yun Chujio had drawn a few array leaves in a row. The runes on them were crooked and they were also intermittent. It was obvious that she was a novice. Without waiting for the crowd to say anything, Yun Chujio sighed. As expected, drawing like this won't work. Do we really have to do that? Chu Fong asked in puzzlement. "Junior sister Yun, what do you mean?" Yun Chujio seemed to have just realized what she had said and immediately covered her mouth. "Ah, what did I say? I didn't say anything. Since I can't draw it, then forget it, let's go back." The array masters were aroused by her words just now, so they wouldn't let her leave. The array master who hit the wall said, "Yun Chujio, what did you mean just now? Do you have another way to successfully draw it?" Yun Chujio's eyes flickered and she looked guilty. "Did I say it? I was just saying it casually. It's getting late, I'm going back to sleep." Everyone was speechless. It was the afternoon, all right? Why was she sleeping? This Yun Chujio must be hiding something. It was a serious matter and she had to say it. Hence, everyone clamored for Yun Chujio to tell the truth, or else she would not be allowed to leave. An elderly array master said earnestly, "Miss Yun, this array leaf concerns the safety of the entire Ghost City. If you have a way, say it. Everyone will be grateful for your kindness." Yun Chujio's face revealed a hesitant expression, as if she was having an intense battle of thoughts. In the end, she gritted her teeth. She said with a wry smile, "All right, as a member of Towering Sky Continent, I, Yun Chujio, will naturally take the lives of the people as my responsibility. Even if I have to risk my life, I will not hesitate." When Chu Fong heard this, he could not help but reveal a worried expression. "Junior sister Yun, senior brother Chu, you don't have to persuade me. If anything happens to me, you can just pretend that you don't have a junior sister like me." After saying this, Yun Chujia's eyes reddened as tears began to fall. Xiao Yu bit her lips and said, "Yun Chujio, how can you draw any array leaves? Let's go back." As Xiao Yu said that, she wanted to pull Yun Chujia's hand, but she was separated by a few array masters. Someone said, "Miss Xiao Yu, let Miss Yun finish her words first before leaving." Yun Chujia's lowered eyes flashed with a faint light. Did this little girl, Xiao Yu, not want her to die? Yo, this is the discovery of conscience. Chapter 4188, Secret Technique. At this moment, those array masters were already convinced that Yun Chujio had some unknown secret. How could they let her leave, isolating her from Chu Feng and Xiao Yu? Although Chu Feng and Xiao Yu were worried, they were not the array masters' match at all. They could only watch helplessly. Yun Chujio took out a handkerchief to wipe away her tears. She revealed an expression of sacrificing herself for justice and said, "All right, since things have come to this point, I can only speak the truth. You might have also heard that I received the Ancestral Master's advice in our nameless Ancestral Master's cave abode." The array formation masters looked at each other. They had heard of this rumor. However, wasn't it said that this was an illusion caused by eating poisonous mushrooms? Yun Chujio continued, "Not only did the nameless Ancestral Master give me advice on sword techniques, he also told me about the secret method of drawing ancient runes. If you want to draw ancient runes, you have to borrow the power of a 6-star dark spirit stone, but what?" Those array masters asked anxiously. "But the success rate is only 10%. Most importantly, not only will it consume your physical strength and spiritual power, but most importantly, it will also consume your spiritual sense, and even damage your spiritual sense. Who knows, you might even become a fool. Therefore, the Patriarch warned me not to try unless it's absolutely necessary. Otherwise, you'll regret it too much." Yun Chujio sighed and said. When everyone heard this, they immediately looked at each other. They did have 6-star dark spirit stones, and there were many slots in the formation eye. However, putting aside whether this secret technique was easy to learn, the main reason was that it would damage spiritual sense. Wasn't this too dangerous? At this moment, Yun Chujio said again, "Although this is also our nameless sword sect's top secret, for the sake of everyone's lives, they'll take the liberty to tell you today. The secret technique is, wait. Yun Chujio, this is your nameless sword sect's secret technique. It's better if you don't tell us." "That's right. We all have integrity. How can we learn your nameless sword sect's secret technique?" "That's right. If you want to tell us, you'd better tell the people of your nameless sword sect. Don't tell us or we'll feel guilty." Yun Chujio laughed coldly in her heart. It sounded nice, but wasn't it because she was afraid that after she told them, they would have to use the secret technique to draw the formation leaves, afraid that they would become fools? On the other hand, the elderly formation master sighed and said, "Anyway, this old man doesn't have much time left to live. I can throw away my face or whatever. Miss Yun, tell me the secret technique." "Don't worry, I won't tell a third person about this secret technique." Yun Chujio was stunned. She didn't expect this old man to be so kind-hearted. Not everyone in this world was selfish. There were still good people. However, Yun Chujio shook her head and said, "Old man, it's not that I won't tell you, but you're too old. This secret technique has an age limit." When the elder array master heard this, he couldn't help but shake his head in disappointment, but he didn't say anything. Yun Chujio looked at the others. "Your ages are all right. I've considered what you said before. It's all right. At this time, why are there still sects? Come, I'll tell you the secret art right now." The array master's eyes flickered and he said, My stomach hurts a little. I'll go out for a while. You guys do your thing." My stomach doesn't feel too good either. Wait for me, let's go together." "Well, I can't breathe. Let's go out and get some air." Chapter 4189 was on the boat again in a short while. Those array masters left with all kinds of excuses, leaving only Yun Chujio and the other two and the elderly array master in the pit. Yun Chujio showed a struggling expression, and finally showed a determined expression. Old man, now that things have come to this, I can only take the risk to try. Do you have any giant array leaves? Lend them to me. The elderly array master sighed. Those array masters who thought highly of themselves were not as good as this little girl. Although it sounded nice, it was just that they did not want to damage their spiritual sense. He wanted to persuade Yun Chujio, but seeing her determined attitude, he could only take out 5 giant array leaves and give them to her. He even took out a talisman pen and handed it to her. The grade of your talisman pen is too low. Although this talisman pen is not very good, it is still better than yours. I'll give it to you. Yun Chujio took it after thanking him and said, Old man, other than my companions here, I trust you the most. Can you help me guard outside and not let those people come in to disturb me? The elderly array master nodded and wanted to say something. In the end, he just sighed and left. Yun Chujio stretched her neck and saw that he had left. This guy shamelessly jumped onto the disc array and stuffed all the 6-star dark spirit stones in the groove into his storage ring. He even casually threw a few to Xiaoyu and Chu Fong. Chu Fong and Xiaoyu were completely dumbfounded. Where were the array leaves that they had agreed upon? Where was the awe-inspiring righteousness that they had agreed upon? Where was the self-sacrifice that they had agreed upon? Why did it turn into a robbery? Yun Chujio took more than half of the 6-star dark spirit stone in the groove. Her evil claws wanted to take more, but she was afraid that it would affect the operation of the array disc, so she could only pull her hand back painfully. Chu Fong finally regained his senses and said with a trembling voice, Junior sister Yun, what are you doing? Yun Chujio glanced at him. Using a secret technique to draw the array leaf, are you too stupid? Quickly put away the dark spirit stone. Are you afraid that others won't know that you took the 6-star dark spirit stone? Chu Fong and Xiaoyu subconsciously put away the 6-star dark spirit stones beside their feet into their storage rings. Then, they saw Yun Chujio looking at them with a sinister look. Their heads buzzed. It was over. They had boarded the pirate ship again. Yun Chujio lowered her voice and said, All right, we are now in the same boat. This matter will be known by the heavens and the earth. Both of you will know and I will know. All of you will rot until you are in your stomachs. Do you hear me? Chu Fong was about to cry. Even if they did not say anything, the dark spirit stones in the groove had decreased by so much that only a blind person would not be able to discover it. But what about this array leaf? Yun Chujio had a mischievous smile on her face. Don't worry, don't worry. Didn't I say it just now? There's only a 10% chance of success, so it's normal for it to fail. Chu Fong and Xiaoyu, this fellow was simply full of bad ideas. So all of this was planned by her. It turned out that she wasn't here to draw the array leaf at all, but to take advantage of it. Yun Chujio ignored them and took out a huge array leaf and placed it on the stone platform built by the array masters, then said, Although it's a lie, I still have to draw a few random pictures to make up the numbers. Help me guard the pit. If that old man can't hold it, Senior Marshal Brother Chu, you take Little Moon hostage and don't let those people come down. If they are exposed, we won't be able to recover. Xiaoyu, Chu Fong. Chapter 4190. This is voluntary. Even though Chu Fong and Xiaoyu felt like they were barking dogs in their hearts, they had no choice but to jump onto the pit to help guard it. When Yun Chujio saw them leave, her expression turned solemn. Although she had talent in drawing talismans, these ancient runes had a very high requirement for spirit energy, and it was also very complicated. She did not have much confidence. However, the current situation was urgent, so she could only try her best. She walked to the formation leaf that was about to break and observed it for a while. Then she returned to the front of the stone platform. First, she closed her eyes and focused her mind for a while. Then, she picked up the talisman pen that the elderly formation master gave her. She began to draw. As expected, the first formation leaf was drawn to 1/3 of the place. Because of the lack of spiritual power, it failed. Yun Chujio frowned. She looked at her empty danton and said to Guai Chao and the great void mirror solemnly, Spit out some power of lightning. I need it urgently. Guai Chao and the Great Void Mirror did not oppose her as usual when they saw how serious she was. They began to spit out the power of lightning evenly. Yun Chujio refined the power of lightning that they spat out and picked up the talisman brush again. However, she failed again halfway through the second piece. This time, it was not because her spirit energy was lacking, but because the runes were too complicated. Yun Chujio accidentally drew the wrong one, resulting in the entire array leaf being ruined. Yun Chujio took a deep breath. She had to meditate for a while before she had the energy to continue drawing, so she began to meditate cross-legged. Chu Feng and Xiao Yu, who were on top of the deep pit, watched Yun Chujio's actions. Although they couldn't see what she had drawn on the array leaf, it didn't look like she was randomly drawing, but it did look like it. At this moment, there was a commotion from outside. It was likely that the elderly array master was blocking the other array masters. Yun Chujio, who was meditating, clearly heard the commotion. She suddenly opened her eyes and said solemnly to Chu Feng and Xiao Yu, "Go over and help. At least buy me an hour." This was the first time Chu Feng and Xiao Yu saw Yun Chujio so serious. They subconsciously walked towards the door. The two of them walked halfway before they realized that their spirit energy could not be compared to those array masters. How could they stall for an hour? Xiao Yu recalled what Yun Chujio said and gritted her teeth. That trash doesn't seem to be joking. Maybe she can really draw it, so we helped her. According to what that trash said, if you hold me hostage even if they don't believe it, it's still possible to drag it out for an hour. Chu Feng was somewhat at a loss. This isn't too good, right? Xiao Yu rolled her eyes. Can you not be so wishy-washy? I'm not even afraid of being held hostage. What are you afraid of? Although Chu Feng had a good temper, being called wishy-washy by a girl made him lose face. He immediately said in a cold voice, "This is voluntary. Don't call me ruthless when the time comes." Xiao Yu snorted coldly and did not reply. The two had just finished discussing when those array masters rushed in. The reason was very simple. In the beginning, they were afraid that after they learned the secret technique, Yun Chujio would let them draw the array leaf. Wouldn't that damage their spiritual sense? However, when they thought about it later, they were also dumbfounded. They could totally learn the secret technique and then say that they did not learn it? This was a secret method to draw ancient runes. What if they could use it in the future? Chapter 4191. Your disciple has been kidnapped again. In particular, those array masters had unintentionally learned from those ghosts that Yun Chujio had not received any instructions from Manager's son at all and had entered without permission. That little girl was obviously scheming. Could she be lying to them? Therefore, despite the elder array master stopping them, they still charged in. Seeing this, Chu Feng did not have time to think about anything else. He took out his sword and placed it on Xiao Yu's neck. When these array masters saw this, they immediately stopped in their tracks. Although they had heard about Yun Chujio holding Xiao Yu hostage, Xiao Yu's identity was special, so they really did not dare to take the risk. However, they did not notice that Chu Fang's legs were slightly trembling. This was the first time he was so close to a girl, so he could not help but feel a little nervous. Although he had interacted with Yun Chujio quite often, in his heart, Yun Chujio was a terrifying black lotus, so he did not have any romantic thoughts. However, Xiao Yu was different. Although she was arrogant and domineering, after interacting with her for the past few days, Chu Feng felt that she was not that annoying. In addition, Xiao Yu's appearance was one of the best in the northern continent, especially now that the two of them were so close to each other. He could even smell the fragrance coming from Xiao Yu's body. It was already good enough to be able to hold a treasured sword. Xiao Yu did not have as many thoughts as Chu Feng. Right now, she only wanted to buy an hour for Yun Chujio. Her heart was also very conflicted. On one hand, she was unwilling to accept that Yun Chujio was stronger than her. On the other hand, she hoped that Yun Chujio could create a miracle. She did not know why, but after interacting with Yun Chujio for the past few days, she felt that although Yun Chujio's mouth was a little harsh, and although she still looked so annoying, she felt that there was a sense of stability by her side. She had really seen a ghost. Those array masters negotiated with Chu Feng, but Chu Feng had no choice. In order to scare those people away, he could only clench his teeth and increase the strength of his hands. A wound instantly appeared on Xiao Yu's neck. Chu Feng only felt his heart tremble, and he nearly threw the treasured sword in his hand onto the ground. He managed to stabilize his mind with great difficulty, and his eyes suddenly turned red as he shouted at those people, "Back off! All of you back off, or else I'll really kill her. Do you people still know what propriety, justice, and shame are?" It was clearly you who didn't want to damage your spiritual sense, and each of you found an excuse to escape one by one. Now, you've come back to disturb junior sister Yun's use of a secret technique. Do you still deserve to be human? Those array masters' faces alternated between green and red, and they couldn't help but feel flustered and exasperated. However, when they saw the wound on Xiao Yu's neck, they didn't dare to take the risk. If they offended Flying Flower Island, even if they could leave Ghost City, it was likely that they would not have an easy time in the future. After a discussion, they decided to let the ghost messengers deliver the letter to Manager Sun and Island Master Chi. They wanted to see if Yun Chujio was really drawing the array leaf or was she up to something. Chu Feng saw that someone was delivering the letter and did not stop them. He estimated the time. This trip would take less than an hour. The elder array master sighed. These people weren't even as good as the three youngsters. They didn't think that if Yun Chujio had evil intentions, she wouldn't have helped them find the core of the array. In the end, they were still selfish. They didn't want to damage the leaves of the array and wanted to learn the secret technique. They were really selfish to the extreme. In the King of Hell's residence, Island Master Chi was talking to Elder Duanmu and the others when he saw a ghost scamper rush in. "Island Master Chi, your disciple has been kidnapped again. Please go and take a look." Island Master Chi was stunned for a moment before he stood up. Xiao Yu was kidnapped by Yun Chujio again? That ghost messenger shook his head. She wasn't kidnapped by Miss Yun this time. She was kidnapped by young hero Chu Feng of the Nameless Sword Sect. Island Master Chi felt as though he was bickering in his heart. What the hell was going on? Piaofralfanoan Ohei had discovered that ever since his disciple got together with that little girl, Yun Chujio, it was getting more and more troublesome. However, the most important thing now was to see what was going on before dealing with them. Thus, Island Master Chi and the others hurriedly left the King of Hell's abode and met Manager Sun and the others on the way. They did not have time to exchange pleasantries and immediately rushed to the ghost city of Tao Tai. The moment Island Master Chi saw Xiao Yu being held hostage by Chu Feng, especially the bloodstains on Xiao Yu's neck, he was about to explode with anger. If Chu Feng did not still have Xiao Yu in his hands, he would probably have slapped Chu Feng to death on the spot. Chu Feng's legs trembled even more, but he didn't hear Yun Chujio's voice, so he could only grit his teeth and persevere. Elder Gu was afraid that Island Master Chi would make a move, so he berated, "Evil disciple, what are you doing? Hurry up and release Xiao Yu." Chu Feng gritted his teeth and said, "Master, I didn't mean to hurt Xiao Yu. It's mainly because junior sister Yun is using a secret technique to draw the array leaf. She has told us not to let anyone disturb her. We have no choice but to use this method." Xiao Yu also echoed, "That's right. This matter isn't Chu Feng's fault. I was the one who was kidnapped voluntarily. Yun Chujio said that if we were disturbed, all our efforts would be wasted. So we have no way to stop those array masters, so we can only do this. Please visit P-Alpha-1. Island Master Chi almost fainted from anger. What kind of bewitching potion did Yun Chujio give his disciple? Now she was simply obeying her every word, and she was even willing to be kidnapped to help her stall for time. Was there something wrong with her brain? However, he was afraid that Chu Feng would accidentally hurt Xiao Yu, so he could only say, "We won't go in. Hurry up and bandage the wound. If it leaves a scar, you'll regret it." Chu Feng had long given up on holding Xiao Yu hostage. Upon hearing that, he immediately put away his sword and said somewhat helplessly, I didn't use any strength just now. You don't hurt, right?" Xiao Yu rolled her eyes. "They'll try cutting your neck to see if it hurts." Chu Feng also felt that what he said was rather stupid. His face immediately turned red and he became even more at a loss. Upon seeing this, Island Master Qi immediately understood that Chu Feng was harboring wolf-like ambitions for his own disciple. He became even angrier as he said to Elder Gu, "The three of you, although Xiao Yu is willing, isn't it too much for your nameless sword sect's disciples to hold her hostage over and over again?" Elder Gu could not bear to look at his own disciple's stupidity. He laughed and said, "Island Master Qi, there's no need to be angry. After we are out of danger, I will naturally give you an explanation." Island Master Qi snorted coldly. If not for the special circumstances, he would have killed Chu Feng with a slap. He actually coveted his disciple. He was really courting death. Xiao Yu was going to marry Tower Master Luochen. How could a mere successor disciple like him compare to Tower Master Luochen? He really overestimated himself. Manager's son coughed. "Everyone, should we go in and take a look? At most, we can just quietly take a look at the side of the pit and not disturb her. I believe we won't be able to affect Yun Chujia's drawing of the array leaf." Island Master Qi and the others naturally had no objections. They wanted to see what Yun Chujio was up to. Although Chu Feng and Xiao Yu wanted to stop her, they knew that they could not stop her. They could only emphasize repeatedly that they should not go into the pit to disturb Yun Chujio. Island Master Qi looked at Xiao Yu in anger. He planned to interrogate her properly when he returned. What did Yun Chujio give her to make her so obedient? Soon, they reached the edge of the pit. What they saw shocked them. They saw Yun Chujio lying on the ground with her face facing the sky. She seemed to have fainted. Elder Duanmu and the others jumped down in a hurry. When they got closer, they saw Yun Chujio with her eyes closed. Her face was as pale as paper, and her hair was soaked with sweat. Elder Jiu was about to check Yun Chujio's pulse, but Yun Chujio woke up. She looked at Elder Gu and the others in a daze. Then she stood up and pointed at the crowd. "Hey, where did the ghost come from? Grand Supreme Elder, hurry up and get out of my way." Everyone was stunned. What was she talking about? The array master who had crashed into the wall exclaimed, "It seems that Yun Chujio has suffered a backlash from the secret technique. She has become a fool." Hei Shinjio, who was possessed by the essence of acting, cursed in her heart. "You are the fucking fool. Your entire family is a fool." However, this fellow was eager for everyone to think that she had lost her mind. She took out a treasured sword and waved it around. "Get out of the way. All of you, get out of the way. This place is related to the safety of the Ghost City. Whoever comes near me will die." Everyone's faces were dull. Then, they saw Yun Chujio pointing the sword at Island Master Qi and saying, "You old ghost, why do you look so familiar? Get out of the way. Please visit P Alpha Alpha -1. Ko, Embalfriend Alpha No One." Ohei was about to say something when he saw Yun Chujio laughing loudly and saying, "Ha! I've finally finished drawing the array leaf. The Ghost City is safe. Everyone doesn't have to die." Everyone's attention was immediately attracted by this sentence. She had finished drawing the array leaf? Everyone's eyes then fell on the stone platform and the array leaves scattered on the ground. However, some of the array leaves had been drawn to 1/3, some had been drawn to half, and some had even drawn some ghost runes. None of them had been successfully drawn. When the array masters saw the array leaf that had been drawn to half, they could not help but turn pale with fright. The lines and strength of this array leaf were just right, but it was a pity that they had drawn the wrong symbol. Otherwise, they might really have been able to draw it successfully. It seemed that the secret technique that Yun Chujio was talking about was true. Otherwise, there was no way that a little girl like her would not be able to draw it. On one hand, these array masters felt that it was a pity that the secret technique was lost because of Yun Chujio's madness. On the other hand, they felt a little fortunate. If Yun Chujio had not gone mad, they reckoned that everyone would have asked her to tell them the secret technique. At that time, they would have no choice but to learn it even if they did not want to. Only the eyes of the elderly array master flashed. He had given Yun Chujio a total of 5 empty giant array leaves. There were only 4 on the ground. The other one had yet to be drawn, Or could it be that she had kept it after successfully drawing it? While everyone was in a daze, they saw Yun Chujio roll her eyes and faint on Xiao Yu's body. Xiao Yu was originally a little worried that this fellow had really gone crazy, but when she saw the sinister flash in his eyes, she had an epiphany. Fuck, this trash was acting again. Although Xiao Yu secretly gritted her teeth, she still shouted in panic, Yun Chujio, are you alright? Why don't I bleed you a little? Maybe you will regain your consciousness. Yun Chujio's eyelids trembled when she heard Xiao Yu's words. The hand under her sleeve pinched Xiao Yu's waist fiercely. Xiao Yu was in so much pain that she nearly cried out. Just as she was about to pinch Yun Chujio's body a few times, Yun Chujio opened her eyes and said weakly, This? Where is this? Who are all of you? Chu Fong said with a sobbing voice, Junior sister Yun, I am senior brother Chu. Don't tell me you don't even recognize me? Yun Chujio was stunned for a moment, then she pressed her hand on her temple and said, I remember now. I am the country toppling, city toppling, and peerless female emperor. My dear ministers, why don't you kneel before me when you see me? Everyone was dumbfounded. It was over. This little girl had really gone crazy. Just as they were at a loss, Yun Chujio took out a huge array leaf from her storage ring and placed it on the stone platform. What is this thing? Who put it in my storage ring? Everyone's attention was immediately attracted by the array leaf. The array master who had slammed into the wall exclaimed, It's done. It's really done. However, we still need to compare it. There can't be the slightest error. How everyone was so anxious that they gritted their teeth, but they couldn't snatch it openly. Manager's son smiled like a flower and coaxed, Miss Yun, we are all grateful for your righteousness. The array leaf is of great importance. Please hand it over to us first. Yun Chujio frowned. What did you say? I don't understand. Elder Duanmu and the other two tried to persuade her, but Yun Chujio refused to take out the array leaf no matter what. Some people were anxious and wanted to make a move. Please visit P-Alpha-1. M. Chu Fong said angrily, Do you still have a conscience? Junior sister Yun has gone crazy for the sake of drawing the array leaf, yet you still want to snatch it. You're worse than pigs and dogs. Those people looked a little embarrassed as they defended themselves. We're not trying to hurt Miss Yun, but the array leaf is of great importance. The earlier we change it, the earlier we can rest assured. Elder Gu was afraid that those people would become angry out of embarrassment. He scolded, Chu Fong, don't be rude. Everyone was just saying it. How could they really hurt the little girl? You usually have the best relationship with the little girl. Advise her to hand over the array leaf so that she can return to the inn earlier to find someone to treat her. Chu Fong did not dare to contradict Elder Gu. He could only say to Yun Chujio, Junior sister Yun, hand over the array leaf and senior brother will bring you back to the inn to eat delicious food. Don't you love eating bones the most? Senior brother will ask the inn's people to make a basin of bones for you. Yun Chujio ridiculed in her heart. What did he mean by she loved eating bones the most? She was not a dog. However, this fellow felt that it was about time to finish the job. After scraping the oil and water properly, he could call it a day. Thus, he clutched his head, Senior brother Chu, I remember now. You are senior brother Chu. My head hurts so much, it's like being pricked by needles. Senior brother, do you have any medicinal pills that can heal spiritual sense? Quickly give me some, I'm in so much pain. When the elder array master heard that, he hurriedly handed over a bottle of medicinal pills. Little girl, I have some medicinal pills that can heal spiritual sense. Although they can't be compared to the mysterious heaven pill, they can still alleviate the pain. Yun Chujio nodded weakly. Thank you, senior. It's just that my spiritual sense is severely damaged. I reckon that I'll have to rely on the pills to maintain it in the future. These pills won't be able to last for more than a few days. I'm really miserable. Woo-woo, I won't really become a fool, right? Xiao Yu had long seen through Yun Chujio's little tricks. She stood by the side without saying a word and sneered in her heart. She wanted to see how this scene of hers would continue to play out. Did she think that those people would obediently take out the medicinal pills just because she said so? In her dreams. As expected, other than Elder Duanmu and the other two taking out some medicinal pills and handing them to Yun Chujio, the others did not move. Yun Chujio took the few bottles of pills, she humphed and said, "Io, Senior Brother Chu, my spiritual sense is in terrible pain now. If I don't have good pills, I'd better not use my spiritual sense now to avoid getting hurt again. Keep these pills in your storage ring first." Everyone was dumbfounded when they heard that. They naturally understood the meaning of Yun Chujio's words. It turned out that if they didn't give her the pills, this guy wouldn't take out the formation leaf. After all, even the pills were kept in Chu Fang's storage ring. Manager's son secretly cursed Yun Chujio for her black heart. She had clearly bought a mysterious heaven pill in the ghost market of Tao Tai, and now she was here to extort pills. However, when he thought about how Yun Chujio had damaged her spiritual sense in order to draw the formation leaf, it wouldn't be too much to take the opportunity to ask for more pills. After all, it would take a long time to restore her spiritual sense. Therefore, he took out a porcelain bottle and handed it to Yun Chujio. "Miss Yun, there is a 3-mark soul condensing pill in here. Although its effect isn't as good as the mysterious heaven pill, its effect isn't bad." After Yun Chujio took it, she said weakly, "Thank you, Manager Sunday. You are really a kind and good person, unlike some people who are hard-hearted." Ouch, my head hurts. Island Master Chi and the others' faces were stiff. They naturally knew that Yun Chujio was talking about them. Moreover, judging from her meaning, if they could not get the pill, they would not take out the array leaf. Island Master Chi threw a bottle of medicinal pills to Yun Chujio with a cold face. Seeing this, the others couldn't play dumb anymore. They all took out the medicinal pills to heal their spiritual sense or wounds and handed them to Yun Chujio. Please visit P-Alpha-1. Co. and P-Alpha no. Oh, everyone nearly fell back in anger. Good, very good. This Yun Chujio's skin was even thicker than the city wall. Xiao Yu watched coldly from the side. On one hand, she felt that Yun Chujio was too shameless. On the other hand, she felt that this shamelessness seemed to have some benefits. Otherwise, with the virtue of those people, it was impossible for them to take out the pills. Hei Shinjio had almost finished collecting the pills. Only then did she take out the array leaf. She even hummed and said, "I traded my life for this. You guys must be careful. Don't break it for me." The array masters couldn't be bothered with her now. They lifted the array leaf to one side and compared it carefully, afraid that there would be the slightest mistake. Hei Shinjio sat on the ground. Although this guy was acting just now, drawing the array leaf had indeed consumed a lot of her spiritual power and physical strength. The reason why she made such a scene was to divert everyone's attention. Otherwise, the secret technique she mentioned might not be able to withstand the scrutiny. Only then did Chu Fang realize that junior sister Yun was not putting on an act again, right? The array masters repeated the comparisons several times before confirming that the array leaf Yun Chujio had drawn was exactly the same as the one that had suffered the most damage. However, they did not immediately change the array leaf because there would be a gap in the protective array for a short period of time when they changed the array leaf. They had to get everyone ready in advance. Chapter 4196, How could there be so few dark spirit stones since it was already nighttime? Manager Sun and the others decided to use this night to inform everyone to prepare and change the array leaf after daybreak. Just as they finished their discussion, they heard someone exclaim, "Oh my God, why are there so few 6-star dark spirit stones in this groove?" After everyone entered, they were only concerned about Yun Chujio and the array leaf. They really did not notice the condition of the groove. At this moment, they came near the array plate and looked at the groove. They were all dumbfounded. At least half of the 6-star dark spirit stones in the groove were gone. Who did this? At this moment, Yun Chujio's faint voice came from behind them. Those dark spirit stones were used up when I used the secret technique. Fortunately, God bless me that I succeeded when I drew the 5th piece. Otherwise, the dark spirit stones in the groove would not be enough for me to use. Everyone, They could not say a word at the moment. Yun Chujia's words had silenced them, saying that she was a waste? She had already said that it was God's blessing that she succeeded in drawing 5 pieces. Although some people felt that there might be something fishy going on, they could not say anything when they saw the array leaf that was successfully drawn. After all, no one had seen her hide the dark spirit stones with their own eyes. Just when everyone was speechless, Yun Chujio said loudly, "However, this incident has reminded me that these 6-star dark spirit stones are all priceless treasures. If they were just placed casually, no one would notice even if they threw a few pieces. So, manager son, you'd better find something to cover the groove and then send the ghost messenger to guard here." Manager's son felt that what Yun Chujio said made a lot of sense, so he immediately nodded and agreed. At first, Chu Fong wondered why Yun Chujio was so kind. However, on second thought, since junior sister Yun was so warm-hearted, could it be that she had already taken these dark spirit stones as her own? After all, there were still a few cracked formation leaves on the formation disc. If she used the excuse of helping to draw the formation leaves again, wouldn't she be able to get another one? When everyone saw that the matter was settled, they left one after another. Moreover, as they could hold on for a longer period of time, they felt a little lighter. Although many people were interested in Yun Chujia's so-called secret technique, no one asked. The reason was very simple. They were afraid that they would be forced to draw the formation leaves after they learned it. The next morning, Yun Chujio woke up and put on his sickly makeup before leaving the room. Although Elder Duanmu and the others thought that Yun Chujia's craziness yesterday was a little exaggerated, they still believed that her spiritual sense was injured. Now that they saw her appearance, they were even more sure that she was seriously injured. "Since you're not feeling well, you should rest in the room. Don't come out," Elder Duanmu said with a frown. Yun Chujio clutched her chest and coughed a few times before saying, "I have to change the array leaf today. I have to go to the core of the array to take a look. I used my life to draw the array leaf. I won't be at ease if I don't see it with my own eyes." Elder Duanmu and the others didn't say anything more when they heard this. It was understandable. If they were in Yun Chujia's shoes, they would also go and take a look. Elder Duanmu and the others didn't go with her because there would be a gap in the protective array when the array leaf was changed. People with high spirit energy like them had to take care of it to prevent some people from losing their lives. Therefore, only Chu Fong and Xiao Yu followed Yun Chujio to the ghost city of Tao Tai. Island Master Qi was so angry that he gritted his teeth when he saw Xiao Yu follow Yun Chujio again. When he came back yesterday, he had already reprimanded Xiao Yu and told her to stay away from Yun Chujio, but she actually followed him obediently. He was really angered to death. Chapter 4197, Water Shortage. After the 3 of them left the King of Hell's residence, Xiao Yu could not help but sneer when she saw Yun Chujia's weak look. "Enough, stop pretending." Yun Chujio humphed and said, "Little Moon, you're really hurting my heart. I'm already like this, yet you still maligned me. I don't want to live anymore." Xiao Yu could not be bothered with her and quickened her pace. Chu Fong hesitated for a moment and took 2 steps to catch up, saying dryly, "Is the wound on your neck all right?" "Didn't I?" Xiao Yu looked at him speechlessly. "All right, didn't you just want to say it wasn't intentional? You've already said it a few hundred times, can you not be so wishy-washy?" Chu Fang's face stiffened and he was so embarrassed that he didn't speak. Yun Chujio, who was at the back, looked at the 2 people in front of her. Her eyes flashed. Oh, there seemed to be an affair. When the 3 of them arrived at the ghost city of Tao Tai, the array masters were carefully disassembling the severely damaged array leaf. Although it was an ancient array formation, the principle of disassembling the array leaf was similar. The array masters worked together and very quickly disassembled the array leaf. Then, they began to install the array leaf that Yun Chujio had drawn. Yun Chujio walked around the disassembled array leaf a few times and looked at it carefully from front to back. She felt that there was something wrong with the array leaf, but she couldn't tell what it was at the moment. She originally wanted to bring the array leaf back to study it, but the array masters tried their best to stop her. The reason was very simple. They all wanted to copy the runes on it and study it slowly in the future. Seeing this, Yun Chujio did not insist and left with Chu Fong and Xiao Yu. In the blink of an eye, another 10 days passed. Although the array disc looked rather sturdy, there was an even more serious problem in front of everyone, which was the lack of water. Food was easy to deal with. After all, a fasting pill could last for a few days, but it could not do without water. The water used in the ghost city was brought by the people of the ghost city of Tao Tai from outside. After so many days of use, there were only a few left. Although those cultivators also brought some water, they didn't bring too much. Therefore, as time passed, the entire ghost city became a water shortage. Island Master Chi and the other people with water spirit roots began to absorb water spirit energy from water-type spirit stones and then make some water for everyone to drink. However, this could only solve the immediate problem and wasn't a long-term solution. The ghost city was shrouded in the shadow of death. They did not expect to die of thirst here instead of being killed by the sandstorm of death in the end. It was really frustrating. Hei Shinjio naturally did not lack water. There was plenty of water in the great void mystic realm, but it was a sin to have a treasure. Of course, this fellow would not foolishly tell everyone that he had water. At most, he would make a basin of water for Elder Duanmu and the others. He would say that he had stored the water in his storage ring. Elder Duanmu and the rest did not have any doubts. After all, this fellow could even store hundreds of sacks of chili flour, so it was normal for him to store some water. On this day, everyone gathered to discuss. Someone said, "Bah, those people outside are really nothing. We have been trapped for so long, and no one has thought of a way to come and save us." Elder Dongfang smiled bitterly. This is not their fault. The sandstorm of death is so brutal. Even if they wanted to, they would be powerless. The person who had spoken earlier also knew this logic. They were just complaining a little. Coming in was akin to throwing away their lives. Who would be stupid enough to come in and throw away their lives? Everyone sighed. If they rushed out, they would die. If they stayed here, they would die. Was there no way to survive? Chapter 4198, Hei Shinjio, who was despised Yun Chujio, rested her chin on her hand as she listened. She was not afraid. At most, she could enter the great void mystic realm and hide. She could only come out when the sandstorm of death stopped, but Elder Duanmu and the others could not. Was there really no way out? At this moment, Elder Jia of the Flying Flower Island sighed and said, "Speaking of which, it's really unfortunate. This sandstorm of death is 3 years ahead of schedule, and it's not over yet. What the heck?" Yeah, according to the records, this sandstorm of death would be over in 3 to 5 days. Why did it take so long this time? And it doesn't seem to have stopped. It can't be that it's really going on, right? Elder Dongfang echoed. At this time, an elder of the Chaotian sect said, Could it be because of that bead? Didn't they say that once that bead appeared in the world, people would be plunged into misery? Island Master Chi frowned. He retorted, "Nonsense. Previously, when that bead of your Chaotian sect went missing, I didn't hear anything unusual happened. Moreover, the bead of the ghost city of Tao Tai was obtained a long time ago. If something happened, it would have happened a long time ago." The elder of Chaotian sect was rendered speechless by Island Master Chi. He immediately became listless and didn't dare to speak anymore. Yun Chujio, on the other hand, had a different opinion of Island Master Chi. Right now, everyone was like a cornered beast. Once the statement was spread out, it would immediately disintegrate everyone's will. Therefore, regardless of whether it was true or not, he would try his best to refute this point. This fellow's expression changed as he thought about it. Chu Fong, who was beside her, saw her unsightly expression and said with concern, "Junior Sister Yun, is your spiritual sense hurting again? If you're not feeling well, you should go back to your room and rest." Yun Chujio nodded, got up, and went back to her room. She gritted her teeth. The reason why her expression changed so much was because she remembered something from the words of the elder of Chaotian sect. Earlier, after the black bead swallowed the 2 beads, it was still boasting in her dantian. It took her a lot of effort to suppress it. However, the unusual thing was that after she was forced back to Ghost City by the sandstorm of death, the black bead didn't move at all. Even after she coaxed and scolded it, it didn't move at all. Could it be that the sandstorm of death was brought forward and did not subside for a long time because of the black pearl? Or could it be that the black pearl knew something but was not willing to tell her? So it was playing dead? The more Yun Chujio thought about it, the more suspicious she felt. Although the black pearl was usually a freeloader, it was definitely not a kind person. Back then in the forbidden ground of the Palace of Immortals, the black pearl had sucked all the Hun Dun Chi into it. Could it be that the sandstorm of death was really caused by it? Thinking of this, Yun Chujio quickly looked inside her dantian and saw that the black bead was floating in a corner of her dantian. There was no movement at all. Yun Chujio shouted sternly, "Glass ball, don't play dead. Does this sandstorm of death have anything to do with you? If you don't give me an explanation today, I will. Hei Shinjio then realized that she did not seem to have anything to threaten the black bead, so she could only calm down and coax her, Ball, don't you want to find other beads? If we are trapped here forever, I can't help you find other beads, can I? So you'd better let the sandstorm of death subside." It was unknown whether it was a coincidence or Yun Chujio's words that worked, but the black bead had a reaction. However, the emotions that Yun Chujio sensed in her spiritual sense almost angered her to death. The damn black bead actually despised her. What right did a broken bead have to despise her? Shameless. Chapter 4199, The Hint of the Black Bead. Even though Yun Chujio wished that she could get the black bead out and smash it into pieces, she still had a favor to ask of the bead. She could only smile and say, "Little ball, of course I'm not as smart as you. After all, you have an extraordinary background, don't you? You big ball don't care about small people. Either calm down this death sandstorm or show me the way out. After I get out, I'll definitely try my best to find other beads for you. I think the Nameless Sword sect should have one. I'll make sure to get it for you when we get out. I think the other sects also have one. I'll get it for you when the time comes. I'll make sure you eat it until you're white and fat." Black and fat? Yun Chujio immediately felt the disdain in her mind turn into excitement. This fellow thought to herself, what a small thing. I don't believe I can't win against your stupid pearl. Just as Yun Chujio was thinking, the black bead trembled. Yun Chujio's dantian was slightly in pain, but she did not quite understand the black bead's intention. Although she could feel the black bead's vague emotions, she could not communicate with it. She could only guess what the black bead meant. After guessing for a long time, she finally understood that the black bead wanted to bring her to a place, so this fellow left the house. Chu Fang and Xiao Yu saw Yun Chujio rush out and quickly followed curiously. "Junior sister Yun, where are you going? Aren't you feeling unwell?" Chu Fang asked with concern. Yun Chujio thought to herself that she did not know where she was going, so she said vaguely, "The room is too stuffy and the atmosphere is a little oppressive. It's better to go out for a walk." Chu Fang and Xiao Yu believed her when they heard that. The atmosphere in the inn was indeed very depressing, and they could not stand it. However, after a while, they found that Yun Chujio would go east, turn back, and not turn back. What was she doing? Could it be that she had gone mad again? Yun Chujio was also very miserable. She didn't know where the black bead wanted to take her, so she could only choose a direction. The black bead would tremble if it felt that something was wrong, so she had to turn back and choose a new direction. After a long time, they reached the ghost city of Taotai. Yun Chujio thought to herself, did the black bead bring her here because it swallowed 2 beads? Was this foodie dreaming of finding a bead that had slipped through the net? Just as she was in a daze, the black bead trembled again and urged her to continue walking. With no other choice, Yun Chujio could only follow the black bead's instructions and continue walking forward. She did not expect to walk all the way to the edge of the deep pit, and it seemed like it wanted her to continue walking. Chu Fang and Xiao Yu thought that Yun Chujio was here to look at the array's core, so they did not have any doubts and jumped to the bottom of the pit. Yun Chujio had no choice but to jump down. As Yun Chujio and the other 2 often came here, the array masters were used to it and no one said anything. Only the elder array master nodded at Yunchujio and the other two. Yunchujio was wondering why the black bead brought her here when her dantian was in pain again. She tried to wander around. Fortunately, the bottom of the pit was only so big. She quickly confirmed that the black pearl wanted her to get close to the dismantled array leaf. After Yunchujio got close to the array leaf, no matter how Yunchujio communicated with her spiritual sense, the black pearl did not respond. Yunchujio could only look at the array leaf. What did the black pearl want to tell her? Chapter 4200. The strange array disc. The array master who had crashed into the wall saw that Yunchujio was in a daze, so he came over. He said with a slightly mocking tone, "Miss Yun, you used a secret technique to draw a formation leaf previously. I wonder if you can draw 1/10 of it without using a secret technique now?" Yunchujio glanced at him. "Of course I can't draw it. How can a good-for-nothing like me compare to you?" "Well, I've already asked Elder Duanmu and the others. As long as anyone is willing to spend their spiritual sense to draw the array leaf, I'll tell him the secret technique. I think you're not bad. Come, I'll tell you the secret technique right now." The man's face stiffened. He had seen with his own eyes that Yunchujio almost went crazy after using the secret technique. He would only learn it if he was stupid. "Thus," the man said dryly, "I still have to study other array leaves. Take your time." Yunchujio pursed her lips and did not say anything. Instead, she carefully looked at the array leaves in front of her. The last time she looked at it, she felt that there was something strange about it. However, after that, she forgot about it. What was wrong with it? She recalled that when she first discovered the core of the array, those array masters had said that the array disk was strange. It did not seem to be as simple as a protective array. Therefore, she cleared her throat and asked, "Everyone, I remember that you once said that this array disk was a little strange. What exactly is wrong with it?" When the array master who had crashed into the wall heard this, he immediately felt that this was a chance to win back a city. He immediately curled his lips and said, "No wonder you can't see it. After all, you are an amateur. Look at the proportion of the array disk's main body and the array leaf. It's obviously not right. Normally, the formation disk's main body should only be 1/10 of the size of the formation leaf, but this formation disk's main body is even bigger than the formation leaf. It's really strange. There's also the formation leaf. Although we don't know the ancient runes on it, we still know the connecting runes. There are two types of formations drawn on it. Logically speaking, this should be a defensive formation. Why are there two types of formations? It's really puzzling." Yunchujio looked at the array disk when she heard that. It was just as he said. The main body of the array disk was unusually big, even bigger than the array leaf. It wasn't that she had never seen an ancient formation disk before, but it was the first time she had seen an array disk with such proportions. Her gaze fell on the array leaf again. She finally realized why she felt that this array leaf was a little strange. It was because the upper and lower halves of the runes didn't seem to belong to the same type of runes, although she didn't recognize it. However, her keen perception of the talisman's seal still allowed her to sense the strangeness within it. Chu Feng, who was listening at the side, only understood a little. He pointed at the groove that contained the dark spirit stone and said, "The reason why the main body of the array disk is so big, could it be that it wants to put more dark spirit stones?" Yunchujio glanced at him. "That groove only takes up 1/5 of the main body of the array disk. If you want to put more dark spirit stones, you can completely cultivate it into a groove. Why waste such a large area?" As Yunchujio said this, her heart was moved. Could there be something fishy in the remaining parts of the main body of the disk array? Could there be a secret hidden inside? She walked to the disk array and took out a rolling pin to knock on it. From the sound, she could tell that there was nothing inside. Could she have guessed wrong? Therefore, she walked to the other side to knock on it. The formation master who knocked on the wall saw Yunchujio using the rolling pin to knock on the main body of the formation plate and said unhappily, "Yunchujio, what are you doing? If you accidentally break the main body of the formation plate, can you bear it?" Crack. A crack appeared on the main body of the formation plate and spread continuously. Chapter 4201 was trying to scam her? The array master who crashed into the wall was stunned. Hei Shinjio was stunned. The others were also stunned. Everyone watched as the cracks grew bigger and bigger, and the main body of the array board was in a state of cracking, as if it was about to shatter completely. Hei Shinjio felt as if her heart was bickering with a dog. Heaven and earth, she had only knocked lightly a few times. Was there a need to play this trick on her? Was it a scam? Her mind was blank at first, then it quickly started to operate. If the main body of the disk array was destroyed, then the disk array would also be destroyed. If the disk array was destroyed, then the Ghost City's protective array would also be destroyed. If the Ghost City's protective array was destroyed, then the people in the Ghost City would also die. In this way, wouldn't she become a sinner for all eternity? However, what should she do now? How could she stop the cracking speed of the main body of the disk array? In a moment of desperation, she took out the silk net from the ball of yarn and threw it at the main body of the disk array. It was unknown whether the silk net worked or if the cracking happened to reach a certain degree, but the cracking of the disk array finally stopped. Hei Shinjio let out a sigh of relief. No matter what, the main body of the disk array was saved for the time being. After a dead silence, the array master who crashed into the wall said in exasperation, "Yun Chujio, look at what you've done. If the main body of the disk array is destroyed, we will all die together." Hei Shinjio felt a little guilty, so she did not say anything. She just frowned and looked at the cracks on the main body. The elderly array master said, "This should be a coincidence. Miss Yun only knocked on the disk array a few times just now. How could the main body of the disk array be cracked?" The other array masters immediately retorted, "Coincidence? Nothing happened for so many days. How could something happen to her when she knocked? What a troublemaker." Chu Fong coldly said from the side, "Do you have a conscience? If junior sister Yun hadn't found the array core and spent her spiritual sense to draw the array leaf, you would have died by now." Those people looked a little embarrassed. Someone said, "1 yard is 1 yard. She found the array core and drew the array leaf. We are naturally grateful to her. But it's wrong for her to break the main body of the array disk." That's right. If she didn't find the array core or draw the array leaf, we might not have died. But now, once the array disk is broken, we really won't be able to live. Chu Fong and Xiao Yu were almost angered to death by these people's shamelessness. What a bunch of ingrates. At this moment, Ghost Messenger had already run to report the matter to Manager Sunday. Upon hearing that the array disk's main body was cracked, Manager Sun immediately rushed over with his men and even informed Island Master Chi and the others. Everyone arrived very quickly. They looked at the crack on the main body of the formation disk and then looked at the guilty-looking Hei Shinjio. They really wanted to strangle her to death. However, they were all influential figures. When they thought of Yun Chujio's previous contributions, it did not seem good to turn hostile now. Therefore, many people remained silent. Island Master Chi had always disliked Yun Chujio, so he naturally did not have any scruples. He snorted coldly and said, "Yun Chujio, although you have made great contributions in the past, do you know that because of your nonsense, we have to follow you to our deaths?" Yun Chujio had 100 words that could kill Island Master Chi, but this guy was more or less guilty, so it was rare that he did not say anything. Manager's son felt his head buzzing, but he was the person in charge, so he naturally had to come out to maintain the scene, so he said, "Everyone, the matter has already happened, there's no point in pursuing it now. Why don't we discuss how to prevent the main body of the disk from continuing to crack? Is there any way to reinforce it?" Chapter 4202. The protective array was completely broken. The array masters shook their heads. The array leaves can be strengthened, but it's too difficult to strengthen the main body of the array disk, especially since the main body of the array disk is much larger than normal. Even now, we don't dare to use it lightly, not to mention that there's no way to strengthen it. The main body of the array disk cracked very quickly just now. It might be completely broken if we touch it. That's right. The sticky silk net that Yun Chujio took out is light and sticky. That's why it can temporarily stop the cracks. If we use other methods, We might really break the main body of the formation plate completely. While everyone was discussing, Yun Chujio said weakly, "Since the sticky silk net is useful, leave the sticky silk on any of you to me. They'll weave the net." Everyone stared at her when they heard that. "Do you think everyone is as perverted as you? Who would collect this thing for no reason?" Without the sticky web, there was no other way, so everyone could only gather around the array board and sigh. The array master who crashed into the wall saw that Yun Chujio was still standing beside the main body of the array board. He was instantly furious. "Yun Chujio, why are you still standing there? Do you want to knock a few more times? Do you know that because of your nonsense, we're all going to die because of you?" Fujinx. Yun Chujio originally thought that although she did not do it on purpose, the cracking of the formation disc was somehow related to her, so she had been holding it in and did not say anything. Now that she saw that he was not going to let it go, this fellow could not stand it anymore. "Shut the fuck up. Let's not talk about whether this cracking has anything to do with me. Even if it does, do you have the right to criticize me? Now that you are so capable, where did you go when you were looking for the formation core? Where did you go when you were drawing the formation leaf? What right do you have to criticize me, a coward who is afraid of death? If you continue to complain, I will smash this formation plate into pieces. No one will be able to live anymore." Yun Chujio took out a rolling pin as she spoke. To be honest, she wanted to scare the formation master who had crashed into the wall. However, she did not expect to step on a small stone and her body staggered. The rolling pin in her hand smashed onto the body of the formation plate. Crack, crack, crack. The main body of the array board started to crack again. Moreover, the speed was much faster than before. The sticky silk net covering it could not stop the main body of the array board from continuing to crack. Hei Shinjio felt as if she was cursing a dog in her heart. What kind of dog shit luck did she have? She was so unlucky. Everyone was shocked by this turn of events. For a moment, they were stunned on the spot and watched as the main body of the array board continued to crack. They had already imagined the ending of them being strangled by the sandstorm of death. Their minds were filled with fear. They didn't even have the time to hate Yun Chujio. It was over. They were really going to die this time. Yun Chujio was the fastest to react. She shouted, "Don't just stand there. Hurry up and activate the temporary protective array. Are we going to wait for death here?" Manager's son finally reacted. He immediately ordered the array masters to activate the temporary protective array. Although the temporary protective array was much weaker than the one in Ghost City and the area it covered was much smaller, it could still last for 2 days. Fortunately, the core of the temporary protective array was not far from the Ghost City of Tao Tai. This was understandable because the people of the Ghost City of Tao Tai naturally had selfish motives and wanted to protect the Ghost City of Tao Tai. Therefore, the Ghost City of Tao Tai was completely under the protection of the temporary protective array. At this time, the main body of the array disk was completely broken, and the array leaves installed on it fell off one after another. As the array leaves fell off, the protective array of the Ghost City began to break and eventually completely disappeared. Chapter 4203, Stone Tablet. Seeing this, everyone turned to look at the instigator with resentment. Hei Shinjio wanted to explain, but she knew that the more she explained, the worse it would get. She was really unlucky. Elder Duanmu and the other two silently approached Yun Chujio. The reason was simple. They were afraid that someone would harm Yun Chujio in the face of public anger. At this moment, another person leaped to the bottom of the pit. It was Tower Master Luochen. He had just heard about this matter and was worried that people would find trouble with Yun Chujio, so he hurried over. "Little Gio, I have something to ask you. Come with me." Tower Master Luochen said this because he wanted to take Yun Chujio away from here so that there wouldn't be any conflict. Moreover, the temporary protective array could only last for 2 days. In the end, if there was really no other way, he would use a secret technique to send Yun Chujio away. Yun Chujio did not reply. Instead, she looked at the broken array disk with a somewhat dull gaze. Seeing that she did not say anything, Tower Master Luochen took a few steps closer to her. He stretched out his hand to grab her arm, But he did not expect Yun Chujio to jump onto the broken array disk's main body. Then, he stored the 6-star dark spirit stones into his storage ring. Everyone, including Elder Duanmu and the others, was so angry that their noses almost went crooked. How greedy were you? At this time, you still didn't forget to take advantage of me. Are you planning to save them for the Hell King's palace flower? After Yun Chujio kept the dark spirit stones, she also kept the array disk's main pieces and the array leaves into her storage rings. Everyone was speechless. They were convinced that she was so greedy. When everyone was about to take care of Hei Shinjio, they were surprised to find that after Yun Chujio kept all the things, what was revealed below was not sand but a huge stone slab. To be precise, the stone slab was only 1 circle smaller than the main body of the array board. Judging from the material, it was the same as the stone used for the city wall, which was also a giant black stone. The few array masters who were left exclaimed, "No wonder the main body of the array board of the Ghost City Defense Array is much larger than the ordinary one. It is to hide the stone slab below. In that case, other than the other array on the array leaf, it is most likely a concealment array. The purpose of the concealment array is to hide the stone slab. Do you guys feel it? There seems to be an unusual aura underneath this stone tablet." You're right. Could it be that the formation plate from before has the function of a seal as well as a protective formation? Oh my god, could there be something terrifying being imprisoned underneath? Yun Chujio stared at the stone tablet in a daze. The emotions that the black bead conveyed to her were a little conflicted. It seemed like it did not want her to lift the stone tablet, but it wanted her to lift the stone tablet. Yun Chujio gritted her teeth. At this point, she could only take a gamble. She walked forward and wanted to lift the stone tablet, but she was immediately stopped by everyone. Yun Chujio, stop. Do you still think that you haven't caused enough trouble? All of this is your fault. That's right. If there is something terrifying inside, once it is opened, the consequences will be unimaginable. That's right. Since there's an ancient formation suppressing this place, it means that the thing below must be extraordinary. If it's released, I'll be a disaster. Yun Chujio glanced at them and sneered, "If it weren't for the people I care about, do you think that I would be willing to risk my life to get involved in this mess? You're not blind, and you're not blind either. Naturally, you know that I didn't do it on purpose. So, if anyone tries to smear me again, don't blame me for being impolite. Now, I have no other choice. Even if I don't open this stone tablet, the Spirit Stone Protective Array can only last for 2 days. If that's the case, why not take a gamble?" Chapter 4204 Disappeared. Yun Chujio's body emitted a cold killing intent. Those people subconsciously moved aside, allowing Yun Chujio to bend over and lift the stone slab. Tower Master Luchen's expression was a little gloomy. He naturally didn't think that he was one of the people that Yun Chujio mentioned that she cared about. If she cared about her, she would not even look at him. He originally thought that this time he could finally let Yun Chujio realize his deep feelings for her. In the end, it seemed like he was unnecessary. No matter how unfavorable the situation was for her, she could still control the situation. There was no need for him at all. However, he looked at Yun Chujio with even more fervent eyes. The woman he liked was naturally extraordinary. Only such a woman was worthy of him giving everything he had. Just as Tower Master Luochen was thinking, everyone let out a cry of surprise, because everyone watched Yun Chujio disappear on the spot. To be precise, when she lifted the stone slab, there seemed to be a huge suction force sucking her in, and then the stone slab was covered once again. Chu Fang and Xiao Yu hurriedly went to lift the stone slab, but they realized that no matter how hard they tried, they were unable to move the stone slab in the slightest. It didn't make sense. Yun Chujio didn't seem to have used much strength just now, so why couldn't they lift it? Elder Duanmu and the others quickly came over to help, but they found that they still couldn't move the stone slab. What was going on? I guess there's an array formation on the stone slab, or there's a restriction under it. That's why we can't move it, an array formation master guessed. That's not right. How could Yun Chujio be able to move it? Someone asked in confusion. Everyone stared at each other in confusion. That's right. How could Yun Chujio be able to move the stone slab? Everyone was puzzled. Someone gloated, "This is also retribution. She probably lost her life. If it wasn't for her, we would at least be able to hold on for a period of time. Perhaps the sandstorm of death would have stopped." Chu Fong couldn't take it anymore and went up to fight with that person. "Do you have a conscience? If it wasn't for junior sister Yun, you would have died long ago. How dare you curse junior sister Yun? I'll strangle you to death." Xiao Yu also kicked that person a few times. Although she hated that trash Yun Chujio, she didn't know why, but her heart was filled with anxiety. Manager's son looked at the mess in front of him and even wanted to die. However, he couldn't give up. Even if there was a chance of survival, he had to persevere. Perhaps the sandstorm of death would stop tomorrow. At this time, everyone had already pulled the array master who had been beaten into a pig's head to the side. Chu Fong was also stopped by Elder Gu. Manager's son sighed and said, Everyone has seen the current situation. The temporary protective array can last for at most 2 days. If we grit our teeth and plug the loophole, we might be able to last for another day or two. There might be a miracle. Therefore, everyone needs to work together to protect the protective array. Don't bother about other things. Hearing this, everyone knew that Manager Sun's words made sense, so they could only nod their heads in agreement. To be honest, both Manager Sun and the others felt that Yun Chujio was very likely dead. After all, the thing that was suppressed by the ancient array formation must be very terrifying, so there was no chance for her to survive. Therefore, everyone left the deep pit and went to inspect the Spirit Stone protective array. Tower Master Luochen hesitated for a moment, but he still left with the people of the 9 pavilions. He subconsciously felt that Yun Chujio would be fine. What he needed to do now was to survive so that he could have a chance to be with her. In the end, only Chu Fong and Xiao Yu stayed behind. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.